All right. Hello and welcome everybody to today's webinar with GoodData and Bizztreat, talking all about delivering data to dashboards for consulting and business services. We're real happy to have you here today. Thanks for joining us. So I'm Ryan. I'm the VP of Product Strategy here at GoodData, and I'll be kind of our MC today and doing a little bit of the presentation. And so I will walk us through a little bit before we get started. The agenda, of course. We're going to introduce ourselves. We're going to talk about services and consulting companies. You're going to see a demo of what Bizztreat has built using GoodData. And then we'll get a little bit into like, why is GoodData good for services and consulting firms in general? What makes us special or different from other BI tools? And then summarize it and do some Q&A at the end. And so a few points of order before we get started. Of course, everybody's muted. So don't worry about making any weird noises or anything while you're watching. You're good. Send your questions to the Zoom Q&A box. So Zoom has a Q&A feature. Send your questions in there. We'll be watching them during the course of the webinar. We may answer them on the spot. We may hold them to the end. It kind of depends on the question and where we are in the presentation, but don't be shy, get them in. And then of course, we'll send everybody a follow-up email and recording who attended this. So you can always go back and look at parts of it later. So to introduce today's panel, I'll kind of introduce myself already, but I'll go ahead and do it again. I'm Ryan Dolly. I'm with GoodData. I'm the VP of Product Strategy here. And I'm very excited to be hosting this webinar for you today. Yuri, why don't you go next?
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. I'm like, good morning or good day, everybody. Hello, everybody. I'm Yuri Tobolka from Bizztreat. I am one of the co-founder of Bizztreat, and I'm super excited to be here today, to share something we have built with GoodData. We have a long partnership with GoodData, and I used to work at GoodData, like it's almost 10 years ago. So I'm like super excited to be kind of like back to in the webinar. And I'm here today with Jakub. Jakub will definitely introduce himself, but I would like to say that he is like the one of the longest, data detective in the team. He's been with us like more than 5 or 6 years. It's a really long time. So thank you, Jakub, that you join us today, and we will show everybody what you have built with the team on the GoodData. Thank you.
Thank you, JT. Hi, everybody. So I'm Jakub, as JT said, and I have been working in Bizztreat for 6 years now. My current position is solution architect, and I've started as data analyst, and I also worked on our internal analytics. So it's my pleasure to show you our baby.
Yeah,
awesome. Cool. Very excited to have you both here today. So why don't you guys give us kind of an introduction to who is Bizztreat and what do you guys do for your clients?
Yeah, who is Bizztreat and what Bizztreat actually means? Sometimes, I got this question. So Bizztreat is like an abbreviation for business treatment. So since the day one, we always wanted to, treat businesses basically. We have founded a company in 2015, me and Radovan Jirka, and since then we grown up organically from like a team of 2 co-founders to the team of plus 40 people. I'm super grateful, that we did that without any like external investment. It was the total organic growth, and I'm enjoying every minute, working with companies. We have been always focused on helping people in the company because, and yeah, we'll be covering it in detail later today. Consulting companies is it's about the people. You work with people and you work with companies. Like in the end, you work with people. So it's people heavy business, and it's complicated on the one side, but it's a great on the other side, that when you see that your products, your solution has impact. So this is what we always been focused on, so that our projects, our solution have impact. Our project, our solution should have like a return on investment. It should make sense. And we are basically helping businesses to grow in the data, what we call data maturity model. We are helping them to move on to another level together. And yeah, it's basically it. We have like typical customers, well-funded startups, traditional companies who are like 15 to 20 years in for example in Czech market, like older companies, but they are usually doing some some changes. They are doing some innovations, digitalization and stuff like that. So this is like the sweet spot. This is the main focus today.
Awesome. Yeah, that's to scale to that degree with no outside investment too is especially impressive. So nice job. That's cool.
Thank you.
Of course, who is GoodData? Well, we're an analytics software platform, right? We're headquartered in San Francisco. We have a very large office in Prague. And there's a good chance that if you're watching this, you've used GoodData, even if you don't know that, because we are one of the top embedded analytics vendors in the world. And so we're used by a huge number of global brands to deliver analytics to their customers. But we do much more than just embedding, which I think is a piece of what you're going to see today. We have kind of a broad and powerful analytics platform that can serve needs all over the no matter where your customers are. If you're building data products, we can support you in doing that. We're funded by a lot of venture firms you've heard of, including Visa and Andreessen Horowitz and people like that. And so yeah. And so why don't you guys tell us a little bit about kind of like your approach at Bizztreat? How do you think about, you're talking about upping companies' data maturity and that sort of thing. What does that process look like for you?
Yeah, so like another point of view on Bizztreat might be that we are a system integrator. So basically a company has a lot of data somewhere and they have it stored, and usually it's a lot of mess. The data is always messy. It's just a question like how much mess is. So the first thing that you have to do is to spin up some data pipeline that would help you to clean up the data and to prepare and process the data for like a data model suitable to the like final use case. So what we are always doing is that we are building the data pipelines in the cloud. We have been cloud native since 2015, and we can spin up the data pipeline project in all three major clouds, like talking about Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud, or Microsoft Azure. We have our own data data integration tool. It's called BizFlow, and we can spin it up in the cloud and then process the data through it and load the data or like to visualize the data using GoodData. And the great thing about it is that you can scale it thanks to the cloud. And the great thing about it is that you can integrate it to your like current engineering ecosystem. So we always do it like that. We extract the data, clean it up, prepare for the processing, no matter if it's like a visualization or on the other side some other data consumption. You can automate the whole processes doing that stuff. So it's always it always depends on the use case. It's not that easy. We have been discussing yesterday whether it's like a prepared product or it's a tailor-made, and yeah, it's like 99% it's tailor-made for the client's needs, because it's even though you can tell that it's standardized, that it's the same for the consulting company, because in the end it's like the business is totally similar. There are huge similarities, but on the other side every business is specific. So you never know like what you will see when you check up the data, and you have to basically tailor make the product to the final use case. So we have been reselling GoodData. We have been growing with that. You can contact us. We can help you spin up the project. And yeah, this is like the high level overview how we work.
Yeah, and I think the thing there that I have experience as well. You mentioned, I have a background in professional services and data consulting as well, and it's the idea of you need a platform, because every customer you go to they may have similar problems, but the way you're going to solve that problem is specific to their organization and their way of working and their people, right? And that's I think one of the things that both our platform and your company are so good at doing is going in and figuring out, okay, what is the way we're going to solve this problem that's specific to this customer. So let's talk about that a little bit. Like, okay, there's the needs of our customers, right? But then there's the needs of actual services companies. And like, you have to choose a portfolio of products that you're going to support. And so, what is it that kind of you're looking for, and how do you go about as a services company choosing your technology? What are you looking for, and how does that work?
Yeah, definitely we'll cover it in more detail. Jakub will cover it in the demo. We will show you our architecture. We will show you what is the data, what are the data sources. We'll show you how we like process the data, and then finally Jakub will walk you through our dashboards and like the most common use cases. So talking about services and consulting companies, yeah, we are one of them, and like as I have said, they are similar but different in the end. And the services companies, it's usually not the rocket science unless you service rockets. it's and there you deal with KPIs like utilization, because you usually have some knowledge and you have people, and you are basically selling the time. You are selling your capacity on some rate, and you need to follow up some key KPIs to have like everything booked, not overbooked, and you are constantly seeking some like optimum. But we have learned that there is no optimum at all. It's like it's about like you are trying to reach that optimum, and once you reach it, like 2 hours later, everything is different, and something is rather up or down, and you are like jungling it again and again. So this is like part of the business. You need to be prepared for it. Jakub will show you how we are dealing with that. You have to follow some basic rules. As I said, it's not a rocket science. And yeah, I think the main approach, and I think what I would like to inspire people here is like do it like step by step, not like over engineer things, no over expectation. Just go step by step, learn again, and then you will end up having some analytic solution that will suit your business and that will help you make the data-driven decision.
Awesome. Cool. So with that, I think, let's start teeing up the demo, and I think there's a little bit, set the stage for what we're going to show you, and then we'll get into how you guys have actually used GoodData, and show people some examples.
Jakub, let's go through it.
Thank you. So before we will jump into our demo dashboards and live analytics, let's give you some a little bit intro into this. So I will show you our architecture, what apps we use for our processes, what are our data sources. Then we will a little bit define our essential metrics and basically what are our data needs, what we have to know, and yes, stuff like that. Then we will finally look at our most fundamental dashboards. I chose the most used one, our most essentials, and then we will a little bit talk about why we choose GoodData and why we think that's a good fit for us. Yeah. So this is our architecture views. We use Paymo for our timesheets and worked hours tracking. Then we use HubSpot for CRM. It's our CRM, so we use it for managing sales pipeline, contracting, and stuff like that. Then we use Trello for project management. We have our project progress there, task estimations, and so on. Then we have our accounting system and also Google Sheets because we are planning our capacities, teams capacities and projects plans in Google Sheets. So that's one of our data source. As JT said, we use our own ETL template called Bizzflow. Bizzflow is built on standard cloud services. We use Google Cloud Platform, and JT already said how it works. I only want to add that all configuration is in GitLab repository. And the interface that we are using to orchestrate whole pipeline is Apache Airflow. Yeah. All data ends up in BigQuery data mart, and we load them into our GoodData workspace that that I will show you. So it's our architecture. Yeah.
And this Bizzflow. I mean, you guys use this internally, but this is also something that you use with your clients, right?
Yeah. We usually, it's basically like a project or business enabler for us. We develop it internally, but we use it on our projects. Like 90% of the projects use the Bizzflow as a data pipeline / ETL tool. And yeah, it helps us. It has a lot of stuff built in. We have created some data transformation templates so that you don't need to code it again and again. So there is some automation because some processes are well standardized, and it's you don't want to write it again and again.
It's good to see in a way, because I know so many data professional services firms actually are just run in Excel. Even though they're, they're going out selling to clients like, hey, get out of Excel. They themselves are just running in spreadsheets. And so it's good to see that you guys are actually practicing what you preach here. All right. So let's talk about the metrics that you have.
So this is our essential metrics and KPIs that we need for our business and we use on a daily basis. Let's start with main KPIs. That's the most important group for our CEO and company owners. And that's our revenue budget. This is our annual goal that's agreed with every team leader in our company. And it's sized and set to achieve required margin. Then we have metrics like contracted amount, project planned amount. These metrics tell us how many we have already contracted with our clients and planned, agreed with our clients. So it will tell us if we are on track to achieve the revenue budget. Then we have billable capacities, that are capacities expressed in monetary terms. Our man hours multiplied by calculated hourly rate. And then we have our actual revenue. So these are our main KPIs. Another group is we need to generate new clients. So the important part is to monitor our sales pipeline. So we have to know how many leads we have, how many deals, what are the targets, what are our conversion rates, stuff like that. One of our core activities for our head of delivery and team leaders is capacity planning. We have to ensure that we have enough capacities for our projects, and on the other side, enough projects for our teams. So that's a core activity. Then we have to track our performance, track our delivery and work. So we look at our project plans, fulfillment, task estimation. So we have to ensure quality on projects. We monitor utilization of team members, contracts, fulfillment, and so to ensure that everything and everybody is working correct. And last two metrics we are not using every day, but they are super important for us to from time to time to look who are our biggest clients, so because they are the most risky for us if they quit unexpectedly. So it's important to be aware of them, and then we have to continuously monitor our average hourly rate to be sure that it's in balance with our growing expenses and
Yeah. I would like to just add that, yes, as Jakub has mentioned, the risk metric is not used like every day or every week, but it's critical for the business. You need to follow it, and you need to be aware that the biggest client is not above some level. And sometimes consulting companies do the mistake that they are happy that they have one big client, but then they realize that they are dependent on that one client. And it's a huge risk, because when the client quit, you have a problem. So this is like for like a strategic thinking, this is like really like a useful metric that we have been always monitoring, and we are trying not to have like more than 20-25%, the biggest client. It's usually around 14, 15, something like that.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things where it's good to have whales, right? But there's risk.
Yeah.
You know.
yeah.
All right. So why don't we've kind of gone through what metrics you're tracking and why. Why don't let's jump into the live demo and take a look at what you've built. And I see Julia Max, who's watching, has a question about how GoodData is different from other BI tools. We will address that later on in the presentation. But yeah, take it away, guys. Let's see the demo. Excited to see this.
Okay, so let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So let's go. So this is our demo workspace with AI randomized data. So basically that's our template with some random data. I prepared the most fundamental dashboards. Let's start from the top. So first dashboard is called Answers. The funny thing is that actually our CEO built it himself because it really answer his questions from his point of view. So that's the most important dashboard for our CEO and also for the company owners. First group is financial KPIs, and we usually look at the current year because we have our revenue budget, so we know our goal, and then we see how much we have already contracted and planned with our clients, how many we have already delivered, and this is the simple prediction of our end result at the end of the year. It's delivered year to date plus projects planned for the rest of the year. Yes, so these are our main KPIs. We are tracking them. We usually look at this chart. We see how if we are on track in months. All the lines should be very close to the budget line or up. So we know that we are on the track to meet the budget. Then we look at how our teams are planning their projects, if there are any drops, and it's subject for the discussion possibly. And we look at our revenue again by teams, so it can indicate us, hey, something is wrong in this team, and we can discuss it and address it. Another important part is the revenue overview. Here we have all the important KPIs by months, and we see the comparison columns. So it can give us indication if we are planning enough projects to meet the budget, and if we meet the plans. And we have it in money and also in hours, because it's important in money for our CEO and for head of delivery in man hours in terms of capacity allocation. This chart is very useful for us. It's project plans revenue by each project projected into months, so we can see how big our clients are and where are the possible drops, and we can also drill to more detail. This is the link directly into our CRM, so we can see all the details about the contract and stuff like that.
Yeah, this is what I really like, that the dashboards are, interactive and actionable. You can select what you are interested in, and you can immediately drill directly to the CRM, drill to the HubSpot, and you see the deal. You can edit information and stuff like that. So it's really, if you would like to achieve it going through all the HubSpot, it would be, nonsense. So this will definitely help you address stuff like that.
Yeah.
We do have a question, and maybe you're going to get to it, but someone did ask, so what is like the most important KPI in your opinion? Like if you had to just pick one, what is that services companies should be watching?
Yeah, every time I'm somewhere in some conference, like somebody asks me, like, what is that one metric that will solve something? Roll them all. What is that metric? I don't know. It depends, But I don't think there is the one metric, but I do think that for consulting company, utilization is it has a great impact. Utilization, for those who maybe you don't know what the utilization is. Utilization is basically number of hours you are able to bill to the client, compared to your total capacity. So you need to follow it, and you need to have it somewhere, because the unbillable capacity is basically your overhead, and you need to cover it so that the whole company is profitable and works. And so we have one story with that. I'm thinking about it. We have been working with one company in Czech Republic they are servicing water pumps, and it was like small company, but we have done like some quick data analytics solution, and in the end they realized that there were like the 30% of the business were like misreported somewhere. They basically didn't know like the like a cost hourly rate and stuff like that. So that,
Wow.
like they learned about utilization, and it was company that was in the field like 10 to 15 years, but totally not data driven. And after we implemented the project, 3 years later, they basically tripled the revenue from the company, and then they started, getting to know where they heading, and they were able to open new subsidiaries and stuff like that. So this was like amazing success with like how data can help you with the service. So thank you for the question.
Yeah, good question. Keep them coming, people. If you have other questions, get them in. Anyway, on with the demo.
Sorry.
So let's go faster to cover all the dashboards. So I think the main message of this dashboard is to see how our company is performing and what's the prognosis for upcoming periods. That's it. Another dashboard I want to show you is our all hands clients. Actually, it was built many years ago for our all hands weekly call, and the name has remained so to this day. But we use this dashboard every week at the minimum to track our performance in the current month. So we can see how we are performing against the billable hours planned, if we are on track or not, and other KPIs like utilization, as JT said, is super important. We are trying to be around 70%, and every percent is very discussed in our company. Allocated capacities, our goal is to have something around 90% of capacities to have allocated, and reasons are we are ready for unexpected events, sicknesses and stuff like that, and we have some buffer for new projects too. So that's our optimum value for percentage of allocated capacities. We like palette charts to visualize the plan fulfillment, so we know if we are on track. This green line is calculated from our calendar, from the working days. So it's cleaned, and we know that we have to be at least at this level. Then we have fulfillment of contracts, and with the minimum billable hours that we have to work to cover our expenses. And super important is for us is this chart by clients. We use that every week and look at how we are performing on projects, if there are any troubles, and we know where we have to pay attention more and discuss with team. So this dashboard is for tracking performance at the company level for current month. Then we have team lead projects. That's basically the same, but this dashboard has been made for team leaders. So every team leader open this dashboard with his members on the daily stand-up, and they see if they are on track again, projects and the fulfillment of plans, and again they can drill down to tasks. So that's for performance monitoring for each team from the project's perspective. But we have to also monitor how our teams are performing. So we have this dashboard, all hands teams, and we can see again for the current period what are the KPIs for our teams, how many hours they have to work to fulfill their contracts. We can see the teams and their fulfillment, and if we want to investigate some team or go into detail, we can easily drill down to the team level. So this is the dashboard for team leader again, but for the members point of view, team leader can see if they are on track, see each individual team member if they are delivering enough hours against their contract. And you can also go into detail for the individual team member. And here we have one team member that he has some contract with us. So he has full-time he has planned 120 hours to this month, so it's cleaned, without sicknesses or vacations, and we see his fulfillment. These dashboards we also share with all of our team members, so each of our team member can see only his data, and each of our team member can be data driven in his work and see how he is performing.
Yeah, I think as you have seen, what Jakub have shown us, it's about hours, it's about revenues, so it's money and hours basically, and you see on that from different point of view. So you see on the project level, you see it on the team member level, team level, the whole company, by time, etc., etc. So as I have mentioned, it's not the rocket science, but you have to actually use it. Like the most critical part of every project is the adoption of the data analytics. So what you need to do is really get used to the fact that you have to work with the dashboards like regularly, on weekly basis, on daily basis, so that you can benefit from it. Like creating a dashboard, it doesn't solve anything unless you work with them regularly. So be aware of that, and you need to learn, or like you have to teach the people to not be like stressed about it, but to use it to gain some insights, and to work with that, because it can help you. It will help you once you will be using it regularly.
Yeah.
And I really like the hours to work each day. It's funny because this is the member that is like not performing well. As you can see, to fulfill the contract, he or she should work 13.75 hours a day.
Busy days
to deliver.
Yeah, not healthy.
Not healthy.
Awesome.
Okay, I have two more dashboards, and it's from different perspective. That's our sales dashboards that we are using. The first one is sales pipeline. As I said, we have to generate new projects, and this simple report will show us how much we have contracted and how much we are forecasted, how much we have in active sales process, and it's reduced by probability. So we know that we have to have enough business in our pipeline to to close the deals and fill our pipeline, close enough contracts to against our capacities.
Yeah. Ideally, you would know your sales pipeline conversion rate, so that like how big the funnel should be to deliver amount that you need to have in the capacity.
Yeah, actually funnel is my last example.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah, we look at how our sales process is effective, so we know conversion, how many deals we had in our sales pipeline for the given period, what is our conversion rate, what is the average days to won. So this can give our indication how our sales process is working. I like the funnel visualization, it's nice. So we have our funnels, and here we have conversion rates between each state of deals, so we can easily identify where can be problem to converting our deals, closing our deals.
Yeah. Awesome.
Guys, this is impressive. like an impressive amount of data you're using to track the consulting practice here. And like I said earlier, it goes well beyond what I've seen many other consulting firms do. So this is like phenomenal work here.
Thanks. Yeah, Jakub and the team, great work. We like 4 years ago or 3 years ago, we also had Excels and stuff like that. Then we realized we need to, push it forward, and yeah, this is the result. And we have like every process, like the whole process covered, and it's great. And we are using it daily, weekly, and it's really helpful.
That's awesome.
You realize that the data is important when there is a process data loading process failure during the night. It sometimes happens, and then if the first questions are, where is my data, where is the problem, then you know that people are using it, that it's important. When it's not 9 a.m., it's not up to date daily, and there's a problem, then you reach the goal of having the data used in the company.
Yep. Okay, so that was great. Why did you guys choose GoodData in the first place?
Yeah, as I've mentioned, I worked with GoodData since it's actually since 2009, and I've always liked the vision, since delivering the data to the cloud. It was always super simple UI. It was user friendliness, and I've always liked the simplicity of the UI. So maybe some of people like colorful dashboards and like overpimped dashboards that you might find in some other tools, but I don't like that. I really like the minimalism and GoodData, and I really like that these dashboards that we have been showing you are like a kind of like forcing you to follow some of the visualization best practices, to have like some KPIs, and then some drop downs, and then some drill downs and stuff like that. And the simplicity is great for me here. And yeah, other stuff like pricing. Nowadays, when GoodData has GoodData Cloud solution, you can leverage your Snowflake, and you can really like optimize your cloud costs. You don't need to like load the data to GoodData anymore. You need to just leverage Snowflake better. So there are like caches, and everything is fast. And once you load the data to the Snowflake, it is prepared to being in GoodData. It's a big change from earlier than like 5 years ago or 4 years ago. You need to grab all the data and load it to the GoodData, which is not needed anymore, and it's really helpful. And yeah, also like analyzer, like a quick ad hoc tasks. As Jakub has mentioned, our CEO has built dashboard himself. Yeah, that's true that our CEO is, he used to be a data detective. He used to be data analyst, like a great data analyst. But yeah, on the other side, I know a lot of CEOs that were able to build up the dashboard themselves, which is great. And like also like embeddability, you have mentioned that you are usually, or like many times, used as embedded analytics, and the end users don't know they are actually using GoodData. I think this is great approach. Like the whole platform is covered by API. You can program a lot of automations, and I have never seen like other platforms that are covered deeply with APIs. And you can it's up to you, like what you program, how you integrate it, and how skilled you are to make it working in your organization.
Yeah, it's like you did my pitch for me there. No, that's really so. Julie asked the question earlier. What makes GoodData different from those other tools? And I think that's a big part of it. And I'll get more into depth on how we approach that. But that's a big part of it, is kind of the engineering tool set that we make available to your analytics builders, right? We have the very simple front end for your consumers and the people who might build dashboards. But when it comes to the behind the scenes work, we have a really powerful kind of API based toolkit for people.
Yeah, so just short summary before your part. I would like to really emphasize for people. I hope we showed you something that was interesting for you. I really hope it will motivate you to start thinking about get the more data driven, and don't be afraid, but let's move step by step and focus on important things. I think that's the correct approach. Not want to as I have mentioned in earlier, not overachieve, start small and go step by step. I think that's the correct approach for that. Small increments. We have always focused on what is the next step that will bring some value to the customer, and then where is this one next step, and then do that small step, increase the value, and then again and again. And I think this is approach that works great.
Awesome. So thanks. That was a great demo. Thank you, both of you guys, for that. I'll given the amount of time we have, I won't. I will try to go through this quick. But the question of that was asked, well, what makes us different? It's really that. It's the simple, easy to use front end. We don't try to create a front end that has every possible little thing you might want to do, right? And the upside of that is that it's very easy for people to adopt. You mentioned, your CEO can make dashboards in GoodData, right? And I haven't met many CEOs who can make dashboards in Tableau. And so that's one of the differences. But the other thing is our focus on the developer tooling. So you can see here, GoodData keeps data developers afloat. Everything that you saw there is backed by really robust SDKs and APIs and a very powerful in-memory caching layer. And so the developer-focused toolkit is extremely advanced, and that has a number of benefits. The biggest one of which is probably that you get this scale and data quality that comes with taking a sort of code SDK-based approach to building out your analytics, as opposed to relying on tools that only integrate, via their user interfaces, right? That's a huge difference. As far as what do we focus on? It's the things you see here. It's really the embeddability that we have on the platform, where you can kind of take insights anywhere. You can embed them in a custom portal. You can use our semantic layer to point your data science projects at GoodData, or your AI. You can train LLMs on our semantic layer. In fact, that's something we're working on internally right now, that you'll see coming to the product in the not too distant future. And this idea, and I think for services, professional services firms especially, using it internally it can be very useful, but it's also this idea of the custom build, and what we talked about at the beginning of the webinar today, which was when you're going into a client, you are always having to adapt to the realities on the ground of the client, right? And we give you the toolkit to do that as a data developer. I think is really what sets us apart from, a more generic kind of desktop based, hey, we're just going to give it to a bunch of analysts and, they're going to just make some dashboards. That's great. In fact, you can point those tools to our semantic layer, but where we really shine is for the data builders to build out, solve more complicated problems, and then scale those solutions to a huge number of people using things like composability and analytics as code and Python SDKs and all that sort of stuff. And so you can see some of those capabilities listed here as far as what we're able to offer. I think the analytical designer, for example, is what we call our visualization building interface. It's very easy to use. And just overall, this open architecture foundation for innovation, we're making a big investment. You kind of talked about a little bit the journey of our platform over the last few years. And one of the big things we're doing is investing in open architectures. So I mentioned that in-memory cache that we have that, will kind of help improve performance and save load on Snowflake or BigQuery or whatever warehouse you're using. instead of building out some proprietary technology, we built that on Apache Arrow, so that it's open source foundation for a lot of what we're building, and that makes us a really good partner with the rest of your data stack, whatever it may be. Another thing that sets us apart from other tools, and this really comes out of what you might call the headless BI or the semantic layer or the metrics layer. There's like a million names for it, and we haven't settled on a name as an industry yet. But the fact that you can drive many endpoints off of good data. So there's our BI interface, which is very powerful and easy to use and scales very well. But there's other BI tools. There's the ability to embed or our visualizations or dashboards or our visualization builder in other portals, directly access data through us via SQL, incorporate us into data science projects via the Python SDK. All of these different endpoints can be driven by our semantic layer. And that is also sets us apart from most BI tools, especially kind of the desktop focused BI tools, which are really designed to just be installed on someone's computer. They may have, some cloud environment that you can upload content to or that sort of thing. But the scale part of those tools came later. First came the desktop experience. We're the opposite. Scale comes first for us. And all of these various customer experiences you can build, not just our BI front end, but all of these things are of critical importance. Another thing, if you are a professional services firm, that might be of interest to you, or certainly, we have a lot of SaaS customers who do this too, is kind of that combination of features I just discussed gives you the ability to really monetize things very nicely. Like if you're building customer facing data products, we give you, and we do this with a lot of people where it's, we can help you figure out monetization levers. So as you can have tiered product offerings and you charge more as people get more capabilities. That's one of the things that sets us apart from our competition as well. And of course, the management options. So we rebuilt the platform over the course of the last few years to be highly modern, Kubernetes-based architecture, can be deployed anywhere. So we have GoodData Cloud, which we manage for you, versus we have a self-managed option if you want to deploy GoodData in your own cloud or in an on-prem data center. We have all of those options available to you as well. And so this is, all of this combined, I think, is why GoodData and Bizztreat make such a good team. And so I want to thank everybody for attending today. There were a couple specific questions about features that I can address. And then, if anybody watching has any additional questions, please get them in now because we're running out of time. So one of them was, can you do refresh? Can you configure the refresh time to update live, to have live data on the dashboard? And the answer to that is not today, but extremely soon. And I should say, it's not an out-of-the-box feature today. We have something we call dashboard extensions, and there are dashboard extensions that exist that allow you to do that. But what's coming to the product, and it's you might think of it as a Christmas present, but in the next, before the end of the year, we're going to be releasing kind of an advanced feature pack. And this will be one of the things that's going to be in that advanced feature pack is a live updating visualization that we'll have for you. And then we have a second question. Is there any kind of timeline slider? Now, I'm not sure if you mean like on a visualization where I can like zoom in and out, say I have a time category or time dimension on the x-axis of a chart and I can zoom in and out. But yes, that is also going to be part of the advanced feature pack. So look for that announcement sometime in Q4. And there's a lot of other really cool stuff in there that I probably shouldn't talk about, right? But watch this space. Okay, so I think that covers the questions that we got. There's a few more I didn't see. So what are the key points? This is a question for you guys. What are the key points you should apply when trying to improve data analytics efficiency within a consulting company?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say two things. The first one is to clean the data. to have everything organized, to have your CRM cleaned up and everything, as Jakub has been talking about it. It's, the critical part. You need to clean up the data to have, as always, it's garbage in, garbage out problem with the data. It's always been like that. And the second part is, and I have been talking about it, it's use them, let people use dashboards regularly. I think this is like the critical part, and a lot of companies are under, are not like focusing on that. And this is like really, really critical part to adopt the data analytics, and it will help you much more, to achieve it. That
I would add one more thing, and that's keep your timesheets up to date, because you have to keep up to date your data to have overview about your performance.
Yeah, that's a critical piece of advice, I think.
yeah. That's a good point.
And then we have another question. What's GoodData's perspective on the best way to leverage AI for a services company? I'm of two minds here. First of all, as a services company, I mean, the best way to do a lot of things, there's two ways to think about it. The first way is like, what's the best way to leverage it for your customers, right? And I think that's a hard question to answer right now because everything AI related is so speculative. I think that, there's kind of a foundational set of AI capabilities that are maybe obvious to deliver related to chatbots and that sort of thing. And of course, that's interesting and it can help answer questions. But the danger with that is, LLM-based chatbots will lie. And your customers will blame you when they do, I think is my theory. Now, luckily, if you train it, I will tell you from the GoodData Labs, if you train an LLM-based chatbot on a semantic layer as opposed to raw data, you get much better results. And you can police those results much more easily because you can pass the chatbot some business context and not just like table information, right? Then there's the question also of a consulting services company of like, there's your internal productivity. So I think that, and I'm curious if you guys have experimented with this at all or not, but one thing chatbots or like ChatGPT is good at is generating like a starter code for you, right? It's not going to write it all for you, but it can get you started. It can help you explore the problem space or suggest technical solutions that you haven't thought of yet. And so I think there's an opportunity for services companies to use it kind of as an internal productivity tool as well.
Yeah, definitely. I would agree. Yeah, I've seen a lot of guys in the team using ChatGPT, with a code or some, you used to Google stuff, you were not sure with, Stack Overflow is here with us for a long time. And I think like 90% of tech people would be like, not productive without Stack Overflow, that. And so
Right.
I think right now you can just ask ChatGPT and it will give you like faster questions or like faster answers. Sorry.
Yeah.
For a question. Yeah.
That's been my experience with it too. And that's one area where, with a code-based tool where we like GoodData, that's one thing that sets us apart too from a lot of the UA-based tools is for the data builders, the engineers, you can use a tool like ChatGPT to help build integrations between GoodData and other tools and that sort of thing in a way that you can't if you're UI bound, obviously, because the LLM, one of the L's is language, and if you don't have a language to interact with, then it's not an option to you. Okay. I don't see any other questions. Thanks for all the questions today, everybody. They were really good. And thank you, Bizztreat, for joining us on this webinar. I think really impressive work that you guys are doing, and I know we're really happy with the partnership here and look forward to working with you going forward.
Thank you very much for inviting us. It was my pleasure, to be again part of the GoodData webinar. Thank you very much, and see you somewhere soon.
All right. Yeah. So thanks everybody for attending. Go ahead and connect with us on LinkedIn. Follow us there. Reach out if you have any questions. Scan the QR code here for more information, and we will see you next time on a Good Data webinar. Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.